Hello Capricorn, this is Steph at Finding You Tarot. I hope you're well. I am just hopping on here as I'm being guided to a reading. Really interesting actually, because I was in the pre-shuffle, the Sacred Creators deck was saying to me, what's the question, what's the question, what's the question? So I'm going to draw from that deck first, which I don't usually do. And then in the tarot, had two cards fall out, the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups both came up. So I think I wonder if there's something here, Capricorn, where you need to, or you're perhaps not looking at a question that you need to be asking yourself. You're shying away from it. And so I just want to expand on that in this reading and see what the cards have to say. But firstly, can I just say a huge thank you to everybody who engaged with my previous video, which had it's going towards 1,000 views, and a lot of people watched to the end, which is fabulous. And also I got some subscribers as well, which took me over 500 subscribers, and I can't tell you, I got to 400 really quickly and then I just got completely stuck. So I am absolutely over the moon. I couldn't be more grateful. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel and got me to that point. Anyhow, without further ado, as I said, I'm going to actually look at the Sacred Creators deck first, because there's a question. There is a question you need to ask yourself, and you know, in the I think there has been this kind of in the last video I talked a lot about the stagnancy that was going on for Capricorn post Pluto. And I just wonder if there's perhaps an element that there is a letting go that needs to happen, that just that you just don't want to do it. I mean, it happens, you know, we are human and we tend to hold on to what it is that we do have rather than, you know, kind of making space for something new that isn't guaranteed. Okay. Oh, there are two here. This is interesting. Okay, so the question that is I think this is about the deeper aspects of yourself, because, you know, what's the question, what's the question, what's the question? And the two cards that have come out of the deck that was saying what's the question to me were overrate your intuition and you are living poetry. So I think this is very much, this is about your creativity. This is about your ability to manifest, your ability to create the life that you believe is yours by right. And I wonder if this is how you're being blocked. There's something, it feels like there's something here about the law of assumption. Which is tied into your worth. You know, you are living poetry. You get to choose your own reality, but you know, I talked about this last week. I feel like it's a bit of a stuck record, but you know, but you are living poetry is talking about you can create your own reality here, but what's stopping you from doing that? You know, I wonder if there's a bit of a conflict here, because it's telling you this card is telling you to overrate your intuition. And so whether there's a conflict here between your current reality, which you might not be where you are, and I get that, or you might not want to be where you are, but you're focusing on the fact that you do not want to be where you are, and so therefore, you know, you're being brought just more of what you don't want, essentially, because it's like, I can't believe I'm in this position. I can't believe I'm in this place. I can't believe I'm in this job. I can't believe I'm in this relationship. But all in a kind of slightly negative context. That it's kind of how did I get to this position? And the fact that I'm kind of struggling to get words out, I wonder if this is it's almost a sort of a scream from the soul of I'm not supposed to be here. Why am I still here? And the block here is about you believing that you can have what you want. And I talk about this a lot, again, a bit of a stuck record in my videos about, you know, you can do all of the meditation, all of the mantras in front of the mirror that you want. But if you're looking into the mirror and saying, I am lovable, I am beautiful, I am abundant, and you do not believe that in your heart and your soul and your bones, then it won't work. It can't work for you. You have to begin to believe that. You have to, in order to shift the dial, you have to believe that you are already living that life. I'm being asked actually to mention another YouTube channel, which is Woo Why Wisdom, because they talk about this quite a lot on there. Really interesting videos. I think Taoist monk, former Taoist monk, and his partner, and they talk about this a lot. You know, this kind of disconnect between the, you know, what you are saying to yourself, but what you are believing in your heart and soul, and how that blocks your blessings, how that blocks your manifestation, how that blocks you being able to bring what you need and want into your life. Oh, going deep already, Capricorn. So let's have a little look at... Nope. The Sacred Destiny deck. Being reminded again about that Nine of Pentacles and Eight of Cups. What do you have to give up in order to live that independent and, you know, that truly kind of free life that you want? I think freedom and independence are not necessarily the same thing. You can be in a job, you can be in a relationship, you can be in a dynamic and still be free, because freedom is about your own feelings. I don't know, I'm not sure how to make that make sense, but perhaps it's a message for somebody that you are free, that it's just that, I suppose a really great example of that is Nelson Mandela in his cell. You know, yes, he was incarcerated in a tiny cell, but in his heart and soul, he was free. He was a free man. So there's the difference between, you know, independence, which I think feels more alone, and freedom, which is just our ability to be truly ourselves. Just going to have a swig of tea. I don't know if you can hear it, but there are loads of seagulls outside making a real racket. They're probably tearing up bin bags or something. They're absolute hooligans. But they're very beautiful. I feel quite reflective as well. I always feel like on YouTube you're under a lot of pressure to just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. That's not really how I read. But I feel like, you know, I'm being kind of told, slow down, just slow down. And I don't know whether that is a message for somebody. Just slow down and think and reflect. And it doesn't all need to happen tomorrow. You know, that's not what is going on here. Life is a continuous process. It helps me to take this one. And the card they're giving me is abundance. And everything on this card is growing. It's all about growth. We're talking here about the flowers actually in this card are cosmos. And there's also an orchid here as well. So orchids are super rare certainly in the part of the world I live in. But, you know, cosmos there's some are flowers, but I'm placing it in the context of the cosmos here. But flowers will, you know, they bloom and then they fade. Cosmos are annuals, so they live for a season and then they die, and you know, they don't reseed, they don't come back. But that doesn't stop them from being beautiful in their moment. It doesn't stop them from being valuable in that moment. It just means that moment is short. So I'm wondering here whether this is something about you know, your with that Eight of Cups, whether you're thinking about leaving something behind, Capricorn. You're thinking about leaving something behind, but whether that's but it could be that you're thinking, I don't know if there is better for me, you know, but everything, you're being reminded here with this card that everything is a cycle. You know, it lives for a period of time and then it leaves, and it's fine. You know, you can enjoy it while it's there, but then when it goes, it's gone. There we are. And then, but next season, you can have more cosmos, or you can have other plants, other flowers. You know, it is a process of continuous evolution. And if there are any gardeners watching, you will know this. You will know this. And sometimes those plants that we have high expectations of are wiped out by a frost, and then nothing happens. And, you know, it's devastating. I remember where I used to live, we used to have lots of rats around because I lived near a river. And I'd grown these amazing sweet peas, and in a pot with a wigwam and everything. And they were doing absolutely brilliantly. They were about 6 feet high, and they were just beginning to create their flowers. And I came down one morning and I looked and I thought, that's weird. And I sort of went over to the pot, and a rodent of some sort had nibbled right around every single one of those plants that was in that big pot, and had literally just cut them off at the base. So all of that growth, it was all gone. It was all, and all my expectations were exploded. And I was absolutely devastated by that. And yet, do you know what? I was devastated, but I had a tomato plant that I put in, and I had tomatoes instead in that pot. But it was, you know, it was that sort of sense of, I'm being told here, you know, that kind of disappointment, loss, replacement, new growth, and then that sense of oh, I know why that happened now. I mean, I still regret it, because actually it was really it was devastating. However, I had too many sweet peas, so I gave some to a friend of mine who planted them in her garden, and then she provided me with sweet peas throughout the season. So I didn't lose anything apart from the ones that were growing in my garden. So, you know, I think there's something here in my rambling way about me asking you to really look at, you know, at what you're giving up, what you might be losing, what you're unhappy about losing, unhappy about walking away from, but how much of that how much it actually does matter. And if in creating space, you can plant something else in that pot, that will give you just as much joy, and even perhaps even more joy. So, yeah. So this is, yeah, I haven't even got to the tarot yet, and we're already in, you know, kind of deep territory. But there is something about, you know, giving something up so you can have something else. So let's have a look at this. I'm using today, I'm using the Golden Tarot by Liz Dean, which I picked up incredibly cheaply in a shop called The Works a little while ago now, and I really, really like this deck. It's kind of based on medieval decks, and I like those kind of really old looking decks. So, but it has been giving some really interesting readings. The Major Arcana on it is gorgeous. So let's have a look. So what messages have you got for Capricorn? So the first two cards that have come out are the King of Cups and Justice. I'm not going to speak on these two, but I'm just going to say to you, just look at the way that the King is looking at Justice. So Justice is the card of Libra. But look at just look at the way that that King is offering the cup to the Justice card. Oh, and there's on the bottom of the deck we've got the Page of Pentacles as well. Okay, so what's at the head of matter? Oh, that's too many. But Ten of Wands has flipped out, and the Moon underneath. So I think there's an ending, and then there's an end of a cycle here, and I think this is about you and your, you know, confusion, and as I was saying earlier, those things that you don't want to look at. But let's see if we can make some progress. It's at the head of matter. That card wanted to flip out, and it was sitting. So yeah, the Empress. Yeah, okay, all right. This is, yeah, okay. What? Capricorn, you've evolved. The Empress is the card of Taurus. You've evolved. You've evolved, and also I'm being very, 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 very drawn here to the Empress. in that she has a shield, but she's put it down. You no longer, I think you're no longer willing to tolerate hiding. And I'm still being told not to speak on this King of Cups with the Justice card yet either. That's interesting. But there is something here about your growth, your expansion, you know, and of course with the Empress, and you also have that abundance card as well. It's really interesting. This is, you know, I think about you maybe accepting what comes with your growth. Yeah. Accepting what comes with your growth, allowing it into your life. And Justice is a very karmic card as well. So we're talking here about you accepting into your life what has come with your growth, but this was destined for you. This is not luck. This is not, you know, some sort of quirk of fate that is going to be snatched away. This is about you balancing the scales. This is about you sitting in your own truth. This is about the universe then responding to you and saying, yeah, this is who you are, and we recognize that, and now we give, and now you get what you have always in universal law deserved, but which has been denied you because you didn't believe you deserved it. And there is something here about you being comfortable with that as well, with this King of Cups, being comfortable in that emotional stability and security. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Where, you know, at the base of the deck, we have the Four of Cups, which is a card of kind of near, you know, it's about, you know, offers that you don't necessarily take notice of, or they don't look compelling, they don't look interesting. I think this is changing for you. I think this is where you have been in your existence, and you know, this is now, there's a big change coming for you. Yeah, okay, all right, so where are we going? The Nine of Pentacles, which is pre-Empress energy. So we have pre-Empress energy and we have the Empress, and it's landed in your past energy. So this is where you've been sitting, which is in that pre-Empress energy, getting ready to make that step forward, but not yet actually being able to do it. I'm also being told that the pre-Empress energy is one of sort of a very independent feeling, and you know, there's that sense again, and this card obviously did come up in the pre-shuffle. There is that sense as well of the Nine of Pentacles being a card of independence. I don't need anybody. I don't need, you know, this, that, and the other. I create my own wealth. I create my own fulfillment, and that is a fantastic place to be. But where we find our real fulfillment is then placing it in the world. And again, the last reading talked a lot about that, about finding that place in the world for that new you. And that's when you make the transition to the Empress, when you can share it with the world, when you can put down that shield and show the world who you truly are. So what are we going into here? What are we going into? Card of Gemini, the Magician. That's where we're going. The number one card, it's a new start. I mean, you know, the Fool is the zero card. The Fool is before the, you know, it's the I'm taking the leap of faith. The Magician it's all there. It's all there for you. Capricorn, it's all there. the advice? I have nothing to say about that Magician card. Basically, just look at it. Just look at it. There you go. You know, the sun's there. All of the elements are there. You have everything that you need. You are the master manifester. And when I was talking earlier about the law of assumption, the law of attraction, you have it. You have it. You've done the work. That 9 of Pentacles says you've done the work. And also, again, this 4 of Cups is saying that because you've done the work, you can't stay where you are. You know, and so this is what all of this was about. You know, this the 8 of Cups that showed up in the pre-shuffle, the 9 of Pentacles. Your growth you've outgrown a situation. That situation comes to an end. The flowers die, and new something grows up in its place. And the advice card is the Page of Cups. So it's about you receiving, because it looks as though there is something coming towards you here, which is to do with this King of Cups and the Page of Cups. It's destiny. You've manifested it. And all you have to do is say yes. That's it. That's all you have to do, Capricorn, is say yes. This feels like, it's really weird because I normally go really, really deep into the cards and I'm picking at little details and everything. And I just don't feel as though I can do this in this reading. It is literally so cut and dried. It's just kind of, all you have to do is accept and receive. And yeah, the one detail I'm just literally being drawn to here is, can you see that new growth here, these new flowers that he's pointing at? So that's your new growth, and you created it. This is not, you know, this is not about other people. If this is about you going into new situations, know that this is what you have manifested. Know that this is not about other people saying to you, oh, I feel sorry for you, or I want to exploit you, or anything like that. This is what you have manifested for yourself. And so all you have to do is believe you deserve it and say yes. Right, Capricorn, do you know what? I'm going to shut up now, because that could not be clearer. That could not be clearer. And it's incredibly exciting. And as a Capricorn sun and moon, it is particularly exciting. So, Capricorn, I'm leaving it there. Thank you for watching. If you're still with me, please do like, share and subscribe. It definitely does help the growth of the channel. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.